So the stream that I had was very interesting. It was a sound that really scared me. It was a very strange sound. So I ran to the window, and I was actually at my parents' house, but everything in their house was opposite of how it should have been. It was actually like I was in my house, which was very similar. It's the same house. We used to live across the street from each other. So, but I was in their home. I was in their bedroom looking out the back window, trying to figure out what this really strange hissing sound was. And as I looked up into the sky, which was very cloudy, it looked like it was probably this time of year, there were white contrails, white smoke crisscrossing across the sky. And so I was looking very intently up there, trying to figure out what this was. And as I was watching the contrails, all of a sudden out of the contrails came these black metal boxes. And as I was trying to figure out what was going on, the door slid open and I saw military men. I could see exactly the type of outfits they were wearing. I didn't see any planes. I just saw these black boxes. The door slid open and here they were. And they started to rappel from ropes down to the ground. And they had black guns. It looked like, I don't know a lot about guns, but AR-15s, they were big, long black guns. And I was panicked. And the only thing I could think of was, and I was the only one in the stream other than seeing all the military. I immediately had this thought, oh my goodness, where are my children? Where are my children? I got to go get my children. We've got to go find a place to hide immediately. And then I woke up.
Wow. That's interesting. Black boxes dropping from contrails or chemtrails, and soldiers were coming out of the black boxes?
Yes.
Okay, were they regular people, soldiers, or demons?
They were soldiers. I could see their military attire. It was like green with like beige splotches, big splotches all over it. So camouflage.
Okay.
I think they had helmets on, but I just remember seeing the color of the outfits. They didn't look, they didn't look foreign to me, but I can't be 100% sure on that.
Okay.
But I remember thinking this is a biological attack just because of the sound that I was hearing.
And what was that sound you were hearing? The hissing?
It was a hissing, very loud sound, loud enough for me to hear inside a house with the windows closed.
Wow.
Did you know where it was coming from? Up
Yes,
in the sky or down?
Yeah, it was, I immediately looked into the sky because
Okay.
it was coming from that direction. And so I was looking out the back window, which looked into a field, which is an old nursery that used to be there that was just now just a field. And that's where I was seeing all the activity.
Now that was out the back window, right?
Right. I was in an upstairs window, but again, it was everything in the house was backwards.
Kind
And I was in my parents' home. I wasn't in my home looking at this because of the viewpoint that I had. I knew I had to be at their house looking from their back window.
Okay. Huh. Do your parents still live there?
No, I sold their home about a year ago. My mom passed away 3 years ago. So I sold the house for my father.
Okay. And you couldn't see airplanes. You could just hear the hissing. And could you see like clouds or anything coming out of anywhere, or just the black boxes?
I saw the black boxes appearing out of these streaks of smoke.
Okay.
So as I was staring at the streaks of smoke, all of a sudden out from them came these black boxes, and they looked like cargo containers. And the door slid open. They weren't super long. They were kind of mid to small size. And the doors just slid open. And all of a sudden, these men started rappelling. They weren't using parachutes, and I didn't see planes. And I thought that was odd.
What do you get for that, Neil? Anything?
I was thinking about the scene, one of the final scenes from Tenet. These guys come out of cargo containers.
Yeah.
And you have one set of, it's a weird movie. It's a time thing. they go in opposite directions. So one's going forwards in time, the other is going backwards in time. Kind of like the house that you're talking about. Everything was backwards or opposite. Things are reversed. So some things are going, not in your dream, it's not going forward or backwards, but it's military guys coming out of metal containers that are going in two different directions, in opposite directions. That's what I heard, but I don't know how it applies to this.
I think it's really interesting that it was your parents' house, but they don't live there.
Right.
How long ago did they vacate that place?
I sold it a year ago, April 1st. And I had this dream December 22nd, 2021.
Okay. What state was it in?
Ohio.
Where at in Ohio?
Columbus.
I'm from Toledo.
Okay.
Do you still live in Ohio?
Yes, I'm still in Columbus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just out there about a week and a half ago. That's crazy. Okay. Black boxes to me, and I know it's like a double entendre. This is talking about, or it seems to appear to be, containers that are dropping supplies into, an active landing zone or something somewhere. But then there's also the hiss and the clouds and the idea of some sort of aerosol being sprayed, perhaps a weapon, perhaps something providing cover. A black box is also, of course, known to be the locator and the final recording, of an airplane, a helicopter, or whatever. So the idea of it shows the past. It says this is what, like if an airplane crashes, they want to find the black box so they can see, here's the responder, here's where it was, here's, the location, here's what the last communications, all of those things. That's what the National Transportation Safety Board probably first looks for, other than survivors, is the black box. So the fact that you were describing them as black boxes, I think is interesting because they're indicative of a set of coordinates and an event that happens. So if they're falling out of the sky, they could be a series of events like sleeper cells where you don't see them coming because they're either flying above the clouds or you don't see the plane, but you hear what's happening. You hear the release of either cloud cover or the set of an aerosol that's used as a weapon, and you see the dropping of the black boxes with the men getting out. So once the men get out, what happens then?
They were rappelling down from ropes, so they couldn't have been too high up, right?
Okay.
They would have been injured because they had no parachutes. And once the ground, they were walking around with their guns. They were dispersing. And at that point, I panicked and I'm like, I got to get my kids. We got to go find somewhere to hide. And then I woke up. But I just remember the feeling when I woke up. I had a lot of fear, which was, I knew there was definitely imminent danger.
I'm pretty good. It's Tuesday and I'm pretty happy. There you go. What?
Am I the only one hearing that?
No.
Yeah, no, I heard it too. Sorry about that.
All right.
Yeah, that's a really intense dream. I think it's really interesting. Go ahead, Neil.
I was going to say the place that you see all this happening from is a second story out the back window into a field. So the idea that you're on the second story indicates that there's another story. So what you're seeing is not the complete story. You're seeing something else. And the fact that you're looking into the back of the window, as John had said in one of the other dreams, you're looking into the past or something that's already happened. And you're looking into a field. I heard fields are ripe, but also this event is a field. It's gone astray. It's something out of the ordinary. And well, men coming out of black boxes is kind of a little bit out of the ordinary. And your reaction to all this is to run and hide, kind of the same thing as the previous dreamer, who there were men in black uniforms that were kind of shadowy, who came out of a semi truck, which is like a cargo container. In some cases, it is a cargo container, much the same way as these military men came out of your container boxes. Sounds like a dossier.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really interesting. It's the idea of things are being covered up, things are not as they seem. There's a hidden warfare. It can also represent the prince of the power of the air, which can be figurative, representing the airways, which has to do with the propaganda war, the psyop. It leads to the Georgia Bear dream, talking about the movie sets and things like that. Um, but yeah, it's interesting because we've had multiple dreams about planes and different things. And again, what we want to do is take these dreams back and look at these dreams in light of others. But I think what's for you, the actionable intelligence is to do what you did, protect your children. I would, even in this time, not to cause fear, but I would, for me, I would have a place to go in the event that something bad happens. Just in the event, we live in a very strange world in a very strange time. If you're, if you're a single mom with kids, know where to go. But I also think that God is telling us, and He's letting His people know, His ecclesia know, the idea that things are happening that are not as they seem, and there are secrets that are being dropped or released. They could also be like black boxes contain secrets. It's also the idea of truth bombs dropping, and the hissing could also represent like the deflation of a tire, like the vehicle that certain people wanted to take as their way of escape has been deflated because the truth bombs are being dropped and things are being released, and now action is being taken. It could be sealed indictments. It could be a lot of different things. But we don't know those in detail. Adding other dreams into the mix, we can figure those things out. But with this dream, what we're hearing is things are not as they seem. There's warfare coming from the skies. There's secrets involved. There's men on the ground, and you wanting to get your kids to safety.
Yeah, and the strange thing is my kids, I'm sorry, my kids are 26 and 28 now, so they're not little. But in my dream, I felt like they were little.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if that makes any difference. I'm sorry, Neil, to cut you off.
No, the hissing. I heard snakes, just like the last streamer. They slithered off the truck. You said you heard a hissing noise. I heard snakes. Kind of the same idea of kind of a spiritual warfare. Satan is the snake, that slithers on the ground. But the way the men appeared, they repelled. I heard repelled, but not repelling. But they were pushing things away. They were repelling whatever force they were coming into, because you didn't know whether these guys were enemy or friendly, right? Mm-hmm. So you don't know what they were repelling. They could have been repelling an enemy that's already in the area of your house. I don't know, but that's what I heard.